You know what? There is a facade that is put up in this country, ladies and gentlemen. And it is hard, nearly impossible, to know whether or not people have values or not. Values are a person's principles or standards of behavior. So, for example, if you leave a tip every time you go out to eat, if you hold the door open for someone who's entering or leaving a building, if you don't curse or use profanity, if you don't cheat on your significant other, all of these examples are values that, we should have, and we tell ourselves we should have it, but whether or not we follow them, it's a different story. Of course, in America, we don't have an official value system or even a religion that everybody has to partake in. But we learn and gain an understanding of the world around us, from our day-to-day lives and as we grow up. I don't know about you guys, but growing up, I had to learn the hard way of values that my parents wanted to instill in me. If I didn't say please or thank you, they would always notify me of that and give me a good knock on the head if I used profanity or if I did something I wasn't supposed to do. One example of when I had to be notified of, my behavior. Oh, just a little bit of backstory. I used to be really overweight, and even at a young age, and I used to always want to eat more and more. So one day, my family and I went out to eat, and I didn't know that it was wrong to stand on a table and scream, "I want more food!" Yeah, I learned real quick, that I wasn't supposed to do that. And that was instilled in me that I shouldn't scream for more food. I should ask politely. The funny thing about having values is that sometimes we think that we should gain something out of it. For example, like if we hold the door open for someone, many people believe that they should get something in return. Not something big, but just a thank you, or, "Oh, you're so kind, thank you for opening that door for me." Have you ever had a time where you'll hold the door open for someone and they don't say thank you? You're just like, what the fuck? Yeah, so having values is hard because you won't necessarily always have something in return, but the funny thing about values is that you shouldn't expect anything in return. It should just be a part of who you are and who you want to be. It's sad to see many people run away from that because they don't get anything in return. Going back to there not being an official value system or religion in this country, we're gonna look at the biggest form of values that humans look at. Not just in America, but in the world. Religion. So I'm not here to talk about if your religion is right or not. I don't want to have that discussion just yet. All I'm saying is that the biggest value system that we have comes from religion. So given that there's no official religion here, we're gonna look at the next best thing, which is the biggest religion. And that's the umbrella of Judeo-Christianity. So what are the tenets or values that Judeo-Christianity tells us that we must follow? Well, let's look at the 10 big ones. The 10 Commandments. So the 10 Commandments include: thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not be envious of thy neighbor's goods. Thou shalt not commit adultery. And thou shalt not use God's name in vain. So those are some of the commandments that Judeo-Christianity has, and it's something to think about. So if Judeo-Christianity is the biggest form of religion here in America, which most people follow, and we have a good 10 rules, you're telling me that most Judeo-Christians haven't stolen, haven't been envious of other people's goods, haven't committed adultery, or haven't used God's name in vain? Hell no! So what does that mean for us Americans? Do we just blatantly not follow what we tell ourselves we follow? Are we completely oblivious to the fact that we're supposed to follow these values? But let's just face it, guys. We live in a society that looks polished up and sincere to its values on the outside, but in actuality, we're no better than people who don't even have values. When you walk outside during the day and you just look around in the world, or even turn on the TV and look in the news for 5 seconds, you see people abandoning their values or their supposed values all the time. Just those 4 commandments I just listed, I know without a doubt that you have at least done one of them. And at a young age, we know about this. It's clearly stated. Every Christian church has the 10 commandments clearly up, and our parents or guardians tell us that we shouldn't do this. But what? We still do it. Why? The fact is, we must stay true to our values. It's what makes us us. It's what makes us unique. It's what separates us from just savage animals. You don't see a tiger having values and saying to itself, "Oh, I shall not kill any animal other than a male gazelle that is 6 feet high," or something. It'll kill whatever it wants. And of course, I'm guilty of such things. When I was young, I used to think that using vulgar language or swearing was the worst possible thing I could do. But obviously now, I don't give a fuck. But then at the end of the day, I realized that it's also hard to follow your values. It takes energy, it takes commitment. As wrong as that may sound, it's easier to look the other way and not follow your values. But I think following your values at the end of the day is worth it. It's worth that time, that energy. Because the world is already messed up the way it is. Just little things like that can make a profound difference in this world. And you might be saying, "Oh, how is me not swearing or using bad words gonna change the world?" It may not change it completely, but you yourself will be following your values, and other people will see that, and then they could change their values, and there's this chain reaction. And if that's not making a difference, then I don't know what is. So the realization questions today are: what are values that you actually value and follow? The next question: what are values you don't follow? Really think about it and come up with values that you want to follow and that you should follow. So, hope this video has some value to you. Yeah, that was a stupid joke. I'm gonna go kill myself. Have a good day.